Hi, I'm Priscilla. Let's talk about fine arts. Hi, I'm Priscilla Shepherdson and I'm an art teacher. I teach all kinds of children. So I also specialize in teaching special needs students, but I also teach regular students also. Fine arts is a visual art form where ideas and thoughts are expressed like through art. So different disciplines such as like painting, drawing, sculpting, and sometimes performance also. I guess it started from a really young age. I wasn't very good in my studies, but I guess also because I was very influenced by my older sister also. Yeah. So like yeah, really, because like my older sister was always very good in art. Like she was always very neat. So I always try to like be just as good as her also lah, to create like nice artworks and all. What really got me into creating more art was when I was in primary school. My Malay teacher actually was the one who like encouraged me to go into arts. So because I was very bad in my studies, like I wasn't like a lot of teachers disencouraged me to join competitions. A lot of times like I would draw and like create an artwork, and then I'll use my friend's name to like submit for like a competition. When my cikgu realized that I was doing that, then she was like, okay, you know what, Priscilla, I want you to like design a board for me to put outside the Malay classroom. So like after many years, when I went back to my primary school to visit my cikgu, it was still like outside the door. When I was in secondary school, I knew that I wanted to pursue art already. There's a common misconception that people go into fine arts just to be artists. But you can be more than just an artist. You can be a art educator, you can be an art historian, a curator, museum education. You can major in museum education, and maybe even be like a tattoo artist. And there's a lot more to venture than just being solely an artist. People don't really think about the thought process that the artist thinks about in research. Like there's a lot of thorough research that has to be produced before you create an artwork. So people always think like, oh, I imagined this and then like I painted this one day. But like it takes months of research and ideas to develop before creating like an artwork. So Blobs and Globs was created for individualized programs, and also when I was teaching in an art studio, I had special needs students who had to fit into the regular classrooms, which was very difficult for them because most of the special needs students, they function in routines. So even getting out of the house would be difficult for the parents and for them to even come to the studio. Because of how large the classroom is and how many students there are, right? When it's very noisy and it's very chaotic, they get very frustrated. Every class is a different experience. There are some times where like it's really very therapeutic, where they are very calm. They are open to trying out and learning, trying new things. But there are some days where they just won't have it. I have to like really be very patient with them. Sometimes it can be very hard to control, but maybe there will always be a time where like there will be a gap where I just sit down with them and just play and talk with them instead of just forcing them to do art. Yeah. The part that's most memorable about teaching is when art lessons turn into therapy sessions, because like a lot of my students, they are always very busy. Their schedules are so tight that when it comes to art lessons, they just unwind and just talk to me about their day, about their week. There was this one time where I wasn't around because it was Christmas week. One of my students was painting or drawing very nicely. So one of my colleagues who took over my class, she said, wow, Clara, you paint so nice. And then she said, oh, thank you, teacher Priscilla taught me. And then even something so simple, like it really touched my heart, because it was like a realization that, oh yeah, like actually made a difference, and like I actually taught somebody how to do something even better. Okay, here are some artworks that I can show you. So a lot of the work that I do with my students are very imaginative. So they express things in their daily life. So I get them to think about things that they like, and then we put them into different art forms. So probably if they are excited about a recent game that they always play, then I'll incorporate it in their artwork also. So for example, like this book illustration, I'll get them to think about their favorite book or their favorite story, or sometimes like we'll watch like short clips together, or read a book together before like starting like their artwork to inspire them more. So this is a series of the different kinds of illustrations that we did before. I also teach them about portraits and basic shapes that to build their confidence in drawing shapes. Yeah, so it will help them in their confidence in drawing. So for my special needs students, probably most of them are usually like obsessed with like a certain character or certain animal maybe. Like one of my most important tools is my stain removal detergent. Like teaching kids can be so messy that it's like having like a stain remover is very, very important. Also, one of the most important things that I always carry around is polymer clay, or like modeling clay, because a lot of times when students get very restless, or my special needs students become very restless from doing things that are very repetitive, right? One thing that I shift their attention away from is to just keep their hands busy and like play around with clay, so it like calms them down in a sense. Yeah. What motivates me to create more art is to question things around me, things that happen in current times, or like to challenge things or beliefs from the past. Okay, just like there are writers who write about current times or their imagination, there are also artists who express themselves through visual forms. Some tips that for people who want to get into like arts or like an art school is that you're free to switch to whichever discipline that you like. Like literally art has no boundaries at all. So I was actually a visual communication student at first. Like I was a graphic designer, and then I switched into fine arts because I found that fine arts is more than just painting or sculpting or drawing. In fine arts, you can also become an art historian. You can become a art therapist. You can help many people in this art form also. Yeah. To see more of my artworks or to sign up for art class, you can head over to Blobs and Globs. And for more content like this, you can follow grtv.sg on Instagram. GRTV is a media platform for global ASAN relief, which is an organization helping those in need. If you're interested to find out more, you can visit the link below.